Since its inception in September 2001, the new PBA Tour has made major strides. Head-to-head competition, more sponsors, higher prize funds, even moving toward an all-exempt elite field, and the advent of a World Championship. Toledo hosted the inaugural World Championship in March of 2002. It featured pomp, circumstance, and drama. Doug Kent outlasted Lonnie Wallachek for the title of World Champion at a $120,000 prize. In 2003, the TV final featured 3 Hall of Famers, Pete Weber, Parker Bowen, and Walter A. Williams Jr. After defeating PDW in the semifinal, Walter A. took down Brian Kretzer in the title match. Last year, with roommate Brad Angelo cheering him on, Tom Baker beat hometown favorite Mika Korvanemi for the $120,000 first place prize and a 5-year exemption. The World Championship, the crown jewel of the new PBA, starts now. Bowling fans, get ready for the PBA Denny's World Championship. We are coming to you from the Eastern Michigan University Convocation Center in Ypsilanti, minutes from Detroit. It's our 3rd major of the year. Our 4 finalists are competing for big money and a long exemption. Now, with the help of the Ypsilanti Community Band, they are ready to roll.
A 24-year-old from West Melbourne, Florida. His previous career best was a 7th place finish last season. Today he makes his first ever TV Finals appearance and looks to earn an exemption to the PBA Tour. Chris-Loschetter.
He brings a flair for drama to his first ever telecast. He went the maximum 7 games in both of his matches to make it to the big show today.
A member of the PBA Hall of Fame, his 23 career titles include the 1988 PBA National Championship. Today he has a chance to break a 17-year drought between major titles. From Alpharetta, Georgia, Brian Voss.
The ageless wonder. He bowled a maximum of 55 games this week. He went to a 7th and deciding game 4 times in match play and emerged from his marathon unscathed.
In his 16th season on the PBA Tour, today he makes his first TV Finals appearance at a major. He has 2 career titles. From Amarillo, Texas, Mike Scroggins.
Hey, the party at Scroggins is back. Over a year since his last TV appearance, the smooth lefty has a look he likes, and today he looks for his first ever major championship.
From Tarrytown, New York, he won back-to-back titles this year. The first bowler to accomplish this feat since 2000. Today he looks for his first major title after finishing 2nd at both the ABC Masters and the US Open this season. Patrick Allen.
The fiery southpaw has been so close this season. He's been the runner-up in both majors. Is today the day he finally breaks through and takes home the World Championship trophy?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest with us today. He is 5th on the all-time NFL rushing list from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Jerome Bettis.
A 7 count for the bus. Good to see Jerome Bettis here in Ypsilanti. Welcome everyone and greetings from Eastern Michigan University, where today and next week we make PBA Tour history. For the first time ever, we finish out a season with 2 major championships. That means unprecedented pressure, drama, and intensity. It should be incredible fun to watch. What's on the line? $120,000 going to the winner. A 4-year tour exemption. A chance to compete in the PBA Motel 6 Roll the Riches presented by Geico. A big-time $200,000 winner-take-all event later this month in Texas. Welcoming in again my partner, Randy Peters. Had a great week, partner. Way to go. Round of 32 for you. You know how grueling this event was for 3 of our 4 finalists who did not make the round of Super 16.
Well, grueling and majors go together, Dave, and rightly so, for 2 reasons. The physical and mental demands that are basically required to win major events. Physically, because of the format. All of the games you had to bowl. When I got done with my match with Ryan Schaefer, I was spent. Mentally, because of what's at stake. A life-changing amount of money and a 4-year job security.
Winning a major championship, Randy, as you know, you won the PBA National back in 1987, is a quest. It's a dream. And for a bowler like Patrick Allen, that dream continues, doesn't it?
And he's getting closer to reality. I mean, he's finished second in both majors. He didn't have a good showing at the Miller High Life ABC Masters against Danny Wiseman, but he came back strong against Mika Koivuniemi. He actually won a roll-off at the U.S. Open. Eventually losing, however,
It's a new season with a different outcome.
to Chris Barnes by only 1 pin. So his quest is, well, it's becoming a little bit closer to a reality for Patrick Allen. And quite honestly, you know, we have a huge Player of the Year race, and in my opinion, if Patrick Allen were to win today, he would go to the forefront of that Player of the Year race.
Randy, will Patrick Allen realize the dream, winning his first ever major championship? We find out later today he's in the 2nd semifinal against fellow lefty Mike Scroggins. Let's check in with the matchups, Randy.
Semifinal number 1 pits newcomer Chris-Loschetter, who earned a bye to the round of Super 16 by qualifying 2nd this week, and Brian Voss, who won PBA Player of the Year honors in 1988 when Loschetter was only 8 years old. In the 2nd semifinal, Mike Scroggins takes on Patrick Allen in a battle of left-handers. It's PA's 5th TV appearance of the season, but the first one in which another southpaw is on the show.
Randy, we are pleased once again to welcome in the 3rd member of our crew, laneside Leslie Goodell, joined by our first 2 semifinalists.
Well, Dave, Chris told us yesterday that he considered quitting bowling a couple times during college, but it's a good thing he didn't, because now, as a 2nd-year member of the PBA, he's about to bowl in the biggest game of his young career. And I know you also said yesterday, Chris, that you were as nervous as you'd ever been. How are you holding up today?
I feel pretty good right now, but I think the nerves will kick in at the end of the game. Bowling a legend. It's going to be a tough match. I'm just going to do my best, and hopefully things fall my way.
Well, in stark contrast, 1982 was your first TV show, and you bowled as many games as you could to get here today. And you're a guy who doesn't believe in the physical aspects as much as the mental aspects of the game. So what's your strategy today?
Well, first of all, I hope that he's nervous. I remember my first telecast. It was really scary, but I've been doing this for a long time. I know what's on the line. I won this tournament 17 years ago, and I'd like to do it again.
Well, to put it in perspective, in that first TV show he was in 1982, Chris was still in diapers.
Leslie, it was a long time ago. It's BB Brian Voss, the Hall of Famer, against a newcomer to a PBA TV show, Chris-Loschetter. He now lives near Cleveland, Ohio, Olmsted Falls. He's been there with his wife, Erin, for the last 3 months. She is from Ohio. Originally from West Melbourne, Florida. What can possibly be going through his mind right now? Ageless wonder, Randy, for good reason. Turns 47 in August. From near Atlanta, Brian Voss. Ball's a little bit high. 9-pin count for BV and our 2005 PBA Denny's World Championship underway from Ypsilanti.
Brian gets a nice break early on, only leaving the 3. And the last thing you want to do to a first-timer on television is give him room to breathe.
His wife, Erin, also an excellent bowler. Central Missouri State University. The Jennies, which is a female mule, as it turns out.
Interesting.
That's the nickname. They won a championship. NCAA finalists as well. His PBA major career underway with a strong 4-pin. It's a bowling family, to be sure.
Chris-Loschetter, a very, very good bowler. The only thing lacking is experience. Just a tremendously nice kid. He's just a really nice kid. Has respect of all of the champions, or has respect for all of the champions out here, and just loves bowling.
Has his mark as well. First ever PBA major frame for Chris-Loschetter, leading us to the Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup.
Yeah, and here's the deal. Check out the number of games these guys had to bowl. Chris-Loschetter, however, got a bye by virtue of qualifying second this week. Pretty tight matchup all the way around. But remember, no warm-up games on television. Look out.
Got a break and avoided a split 10-pin up for Chris-Loschetter, who told us he was a bit nervous about the one-game format.
You see that the Chris-Loschetter is playing about 15-8, 16-8. Last night, Brian Voss told us that no matter what his opponents do, he tries to figure out a way to either play to his strengths or try to play somewhere completely away from them. And we see that early on, Brian Voss going much straighter, Chris-Loschetter doing what he does best, and that's trying to hook it.
For just his 16th career PBA event, Chris-Loschetter. Brian Voss has been involved in a grueling stretch to get this far. He's nursing a hamstring injury, which has nagged him since the beginning of the second half of our season. Early in the second swing, El Paso, Texas, where he pulled it. Perfect shot. BV.
We talked to him last night, Dave. He said, I'm probably going to play the lanes pretty straight today because I can and Chris-Loschetter can't. And that's exactly what he's doing. And that's exactly what he did for his first strike, as you see his grueling road to get here. And you know what? Most people would be spent after those 7-game matches. I think Brian Voss actually welcomes it.
That's high. Look out. 4-6-7. It's a split, difficult shot here for Voss, who was so tired yesterday. Randy didn't take the 2-hour practice session on the TV pair after the event moved from Taylor Lanes in nearby Taylor, near Detroit, to here in Ypsilanti. Wow. Kicking across the deck, 6 stands, open frame for Brian Voss. Just about got it.
Yeah, watch this. Basically, all you're trying to do there is make the 4-6. Ball took the 7 out. Brian almost did it. But right now, it's an open frame for Brian Voss and some breathing room for Chris-Loschetter.
The guy they call CJ, Christopher John. Chris-Loschetter started his collegiate bowling career at Nebraska, then transferred to Florida State. That had a hurry and got into the pocket at the exact right moment for his first PBA Tour TV strike. As we mentioned, the 16 events, best finish last year. Indianapolis, when he finished 7th, lost to eventual champ Steve Jarris in that event. It told us last night, Randy, that it's a moment he won't forget because he was so focused in on getting to the TV show, he sort of lost his general sight on the match at hand. Today, he claims that won't happen.
Learning from experience.
Great look lane level from our crew. As the ball hits the end of the oil pattern, 41 feet, which we'll break down for you later in our broadcast.
Beautiful stroke here. Chris-Loschetter really rolls it nice, and look at that shot. Dead flush perfect. He's got great ball roll, great hand action at the bottom of the swing. Creates a beautiful release.
23 career titles, a major championship. Wants nothing more than to be PBA Player of the Year again. Perfect shot. It would be his second such honor and the longest in its tour history between PBA Player of the Year awards, 88 to 2005. Number 7 at the moment is Brian Voss from near Atlanta. The top 4 were into the round of Super 16 here. Patrick Allen has wrapped up his first ever Harry Smith points title. We'll see him coming up against Mike Scroggins Lefty versus lefty. Semifinal number 2 should be a tremendous matchup. Patrick, in all of his TV shows, 4 prior, did not bowl another lefty. That changes today for him. Back to BB. Right there! The ideal Voss shot in the pocket.
And after going high 2 shots in a row in that left lane, Brian Voss finally gets locked in. Nice reaction.
Grew up near the beach, Melbourne, Florida. 5th frame. Chance for a turkey. He'll have it. Late tap on number 10 for young Chris-Loschetter.
I like to call this the tomahawk 10. Watch the 6 go to the sidewall and just kind of lay on it. That's a tremendous break, especially when you're working on a double.
Back near Jacksonville, Florida, as we see the road to the TV show for Chris-Loschetter. Great qualifying rounds for him, then got the bye into the round of Super 60. Attended one of your camps when he was 16 years old, and he said he learned a lot.
Well, I'm just glad I could help.
Chris-Loschetter shreds the rack. 31-pin lead, a 4-bagger for the youngster. When we come back to Ypsilanti, Michigan, we'll finish up this exciting semifinal. It's the World Championship. We'll break down the oil pattern as well.
I'm Tom Bodette from Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you. Anacore Hotel.
The PBA Denny's World Championship on ESPN from Ypsilanti, Michigan is brought to you by Denny's. Try one of Denny's new hearty scrambles, the meat lovers or the Heartland Scramble. Each just $4.99. Denny's, we're cooking now. By Odor Eaters with unique Zorbatex technology. Destroys foot odor and absorbs sweat on contact. By Miller High Life. To live simply, proudly, boldly, manly, this is the High Life. And by Motel 6, the official lodging partner of the PBA and the lowest price of any national chain. Founded in 1849 as Michigan State Normal College, we're on the Eastern Michigan University campus, 6th largest institution in the state with almost 18,000 undergrads. Randy, let's break down our special PBA World Championship oil pattern.
Special. I don't even have a name for this one. It was hard. 41 feet down the lane, gave you pretty good back ends over at Taylor Lanes where the qualifying was. But I'll tell you what didn't happen. You couldn't play outside. Outside part of the lane was dead. So the players started in the track area. You see Brian Voss playing nice and straight around here. Chris-Loschetter kind of feeding it into that spot. And the lefties are going to be playing pretty straight right around second arrow.
Wow, just 4 perfect games. Out of more than 4,800 bowl with all that qualifying. Round of 32, round of 16, round of Super 16. Round of 8 here at Ypsilanti. Voss in a hole. That's because Loschetter's got a 4-bagger going. 6 frame BV. Shreds the rack.
Nicely done, and we talked about the 2 different lines that are being played by Chris-Loschetter. He's on the left in the green shirt. Brian Voss, light blue shirt. Watch this. Chris-Loschetter about 10 boards left of him at the laydown, but notice how both bowling balls get to the same break point down the lane, right there.
Incredible look with slow motion. What a tool that is. Chance now 4-bagger. 7th frame for Voss. He's down 21. Strike here makes it an 11-pin deficit for the Hall of Famer. Big 4. Got it!
Three out of 4 shots on this left lane have done this. And that spells disaster for Brian Voss.
Let's take 2 of the 4 we saw Walter Ray Williams Jr. That incredible feat earlier this season. First time ever on TV. Knocked down the big 4. But Voss knows that's a deadly open. His second of this match, and so late as well. Now a 39-pin advantage for the youngster, Chris-Loschetter, who told us last night in a state of shock at times in his round of 8 match with Danny Wiseman. Couldn't believe who he was facing, where he was, how nervous he was. He's got a great chance here for the final. With shots like that, 7-pin down late.
Chris-Loschetter right now is going, or is bowling in the high 230s. As you see what he did in the other majors, 282nd, 22nd, and if he keeps doing what he's doing, he can't finish any worse than second here. And right now, he's going at high 230s pace, the best Brian Voss can shoot, 210.
This guy's won $22,000+. He's on the verge of clinching at least $50,000. The second place, another strike. Red hot Chris-Loschetter. Incredible story, folks. He left Nebraska as a collegiate bowler. And eventually, Brian Voss going right to it. Wow, Brian Voss is so frustrated, folks. He's really lost his composure. This is unusual. Absolutely a shock. As Loschetter's in an incredible run of the 6-pack. Brian Voss, as he tries to knock out that 7, is essentially giving up here. I'm amazed.
I think Brian's disgusted with himself because he chose, I think he chose or made the wrong decision as to how to play the lanes.
He's fast-tracking himself, Randy. I've never seen anything like this, especially in a major championship.
Well, quite honestly, Dave, when Chris-Loschetter struck in the 8th frame, I misspoke. I said Brian could only shoot 210 at the time. He could have shot 220. But I guess he figured that Chris-Loschetter wasn't going to miss.
It is officially over now, folks. Chris-Loschetter has made the final of the PBA Denny's World Championship here in Ypsilanti. He'll face either Mike Scroggins or Patrick Allen for a major championship in his first ever TV show. He is overcome and now very emotional. Brian Voss. Brian really wanted to win this one for his sons, Josh and Cameron, watching back home in Atlanta. Brian Voss has been on TV 81 times. Loschetter once. And it finished the story about the transfer to Florida State. He thought he was taking bowling a bit too seriously at Nebraska. It was a very intense varsity program. And thought, well, go play club bowling at Florida State. Ease up a little bit. I don't really want this full-time bowling thing. Now look at him. He's on the verge of winning a PBA World Championship. That's just unbelievable.
Doesn't matter. This game is over. This match is over. Brian Voss will not win his second major today. Chris-Loschetter, one win away from $120,000 and a 4-year tour exemption.
About 15 months ago, he graduated from college, folks. That's it. Florida State. Business administration degree in Tallahassee, and now here he is. A great shot. Young Chris-Loschetter is on the verge of a major championship. And this will drastically affect the cut line, the Dexter Tournament of Champions as well. If he wins, things can change. We have a 39-man cut line at the moment because Pete Weber had to withdraw this week. Shoulder problems. Had an MRI after his last competition. And there is the cut line. Torrey Torgerson is number 39 right now. Chris Johnson, last year's Rookie of the Year. Tim Chris, congrats to Turtle on our competition. Did very well. These guys are on the outside looking in. Hugh Miller, Brian Smith, who won on an ABC Masters. Ryan Kretzer made the final of this event a couple years ago, and Lonnie Walchek has won multiple titles.
Right now, if Chris-Loschetter were to win this tournament, Torrey Torgerson would be out. If we get a new winner next week, Steve Jarris would be out.
That's right. The only way Steve Jarris cannot survive two non-exempt bowlers to win. coming up. Should be exciting. Scroggins, Allen, two southpaws. Head-to-head our second semi. Chris-Loschetter
man or a woman?
will face the winner. Brian Voss certainly not happy with himself. But a tremendous run for BV. The emotion last night when he knocked off Chris Barnes in a thrilling 7-game round of 8 match here was something. Fist pumping and yelling.
Brian's going to try lefty this shot.
Oh boy, left-handed. Well, it looked like Miller High Life Skills Challenge shot. $20,000 tied for third is the worst Brian Voss can do. Chris-Loschetter is through. He'll take on either Allen or Scroggins for the title. Can you believe the story for young Chris-Loschetter?
Movies on demand, available anytime on Channel 1000.
Chris-Loschetter is through after knocking off Hall of Famer Brian Voss. First semifinal. We just heard from the Ypsilanti Community Band. What an exciting match that was for the young Loschetter. He'll take on either Mike Scroggins or Patrick Allen. Let's first go to Leslie Goodell with a special guest.
Thank you, Dave. Well, Denny's is the title sponsor of the PBA World Championship, and Craig Barber is the representative for Denny's, who joins me now. And Craig, why did Denny's choose to get involved with the PBA?
Well, Denny's and the PBA are a very natural fit. They're about families getting together, having a great time. Bowling's the most popular recreational sport in America. Denny's is America's favorite family restaurant, so we're excited to be partners with them.
Well, Denny's involvement in the PBA just shows about the growth of the new PBA. Dave, back to you.
Was it that it does? Welcome to Denny's. We're going to see Mike Scroggins against Patrick Allen. You might be surprised to know what kind of music he listens to. Randy finds out in this week's Miller Six-Pack.
What is the greatest sports moment you've ever seen?
I think it was when Tiger Woods won the Masters that year. When he won by like 20 strokes or something. He just blew away everybody.
What is the best time of day for Mike Scroggins?
Probably in the morning with my kids. We just have a really good time at home in the morning. It gets too hot in the afternoon.
What is your favorite type of music?
Contemporary rock. I like the old 80s type music. Like Def Leppard, REO Speedwagon, Styx, Journey.
Boston?
Boston.
What is the smartest thing you ever did?
Joined the PBA. I think that was the smartest thing I ever did.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because it just changed my whole life. I knew what I was going to do, and that's what I wanted to do, and the PBA did it for me.
What is the most expensive item of clothing you've ever purchased for yourself?
Mark, my brother, always bags on me on this. It's my pants. I spend $200 on them, and he always thinks, you know, I wear $200 pants and $5 shirt.
As a child, what was your favorite toy?
Actually, it was a board game called Risk, and my brother and I would play it all the time, and we'd never finish the game because we'd always end up fighting.
It was a game about conquering one's territory,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Okay.
And we had more fights over that game than you'd believe.
I like that game, Risk. A lot of fun. On the road, PBA Tour schedule. We are the Dexter Tournament of Champions next week. Bradley Bull, Windsor Locks, Connecticut, where Mika Koivuniemen had that historic 300 game last season. That's Wednesday, April 6th. And then the Motel 6 Roll the Riches presented by Geico. Main event entertainment, Fort Worth, Texas. You see the challenge round on ESPN April 16th. Next day, the finals, April 17th, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Log on to PBA.com immediately after our telecast to cast your vote for one of 6 PBA All-Stars in the PBA Motel 6 Roll the Riches presented by Geico. The $200,000 winner-take-all event will feature 6 PBA All-Stars with 2 spots being decided by you, the fans. Patrick Allen, Walter A. Williams Jr., Tommy Jones, Mika Koivuniemen, Brian Voss, Norm Duke are on the ballot. Voting ends at 5 o'clock Saturday. 2 winners will be announced on next week's telecast before the Dexter Tournament of Champions. An event has been added to the PBA Tour schedule. The PBA Motel 6 Roll the Riches, presented by Geico, will feature Danny Wiseman, who won the ABC Masters in Milwaukee, and Chris Barnes, who took the title at the 62nd U.S. Open in New Jersey. Also the winner of today's Denny's World Championship and next week's Dexter Tournament champions. In addition to the winners of the 4 majors, the field will be rounded by 2 All-Stars. You'll have a chance to select them on PBA.com.
Nearly every minute, a woman dies from a heart attack or a stroke. If your doctor says you're at risk, Bare Women's Plus Calcium can significantly reduce your risk. Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen. The more you know, the more you try.
The game is tailgating. The cola is Pepsi. It's the cola.
EMU Convocation Center opened in 1998. It's 200,000 square feet, this facility. And it sits about 8,800 for basketball. The EMU Eagles represented here by some cheerleaders in the Mid-American Conference. It's all bowling here today, though. Chris-Loschetter, the young upstart, takes care of Hall of Famer Brian Voss. Now Scroggins and Allen in the second semifinal. They're both joined by Leslie Goodell.
And I'll start with Mike Scroggins. Mike, you come into today with a lot of confidence, yet at the same time it was a challenging week for you, but your success, a lot of it this week, you said, had to do with tunnel vision and focus. How do you block out the distractions today?
Well, you know, there's a lot of people here, but, you know, I learned all that from the best. Mike Albee, I used to room with him when he was out here, and he retired last year, but I learned so much from him, and I think I would owe it all to him.
Well, Mike bowled 50 games to get here. Patrick Allen, on the other hand, bowled 10. Does that work for or against you?
I don't think it makes a difference now. Mike bowled great all week. You know, I was able to get by a couple matches, and, you know, the adrenaline's pumping. I don't think anybody's fatigued right now.
Well, 3 majors, 3 TV shows for Patrick Allen so far this year. The only way he can improve on his last major appearance would be to win it today. Dave?
No question about that. 2 second-place finishes, Leslie, and 2 prior majors. Masters presented by the ABC, Milwaukee. Another part to open our season. What a thrilling scene that was. And then the U.S. Open by 1 pin to Chris Barnes. Lefty against lefty. The first time all season Patrick Allen has bowled against a fellow southpaw on TV. Will that affect things, is the question.
I don't think so. If anything, I think it'll just help the shot that's already out there improve.
Great start. Mike Scroggins' first ever major television appearance. Starts in style.
4-step approach, pretty simple game. Mike Scroggins has been working on one thing and one thing only, and that's to try to get his arm swing a little straighter.
Already Patrick Allen calls for a re-rack. Mental focus, a big part of his game as well. Coming up, PBA Dexter Tournament Champions. Mohegan Sun Arena, Uncasville, Connecticut. Who can forget Patrick Healy Jr. against star Randy Peterson last year in the final? His family coming all the way from Mexico City to see Patrick Healy's big major victory. It comes your way. Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern. That's the final regular season tour stop for us. But there is more bowling on the way, folks, as we told you about. Third major of the season. Great start. Leading us to the Baby Ruth. Real deal matchup, Mr. Peterson.
And, you know, Leslie touched on it. This is not a typo, ladies and gentlemen. 10 games to 50. And that could also explain why there was a big disparity in average. This is interesting, though, this 70% spare conversion. He's taking his second re-rack already. You only get 2 per game. He's out of re-racks in 2 frames.
Second place to Wiseman and Barnes, as we talked about, 2 prior majors. Patrick told us last night it's long been a dream to win a major championship in what he calls a dream season. Trying to stay humble by being top 4 in points to the round of Super 16. Just had a couple of matches to get himself this far. Can he become the first lefty since Eric Forkel in '92 to win this event? We'll see.
Look out. Oh, my, did that
That's a break.
That looked wide, and he got all the way back. He caves in the bucket. Wow. Check this out. This ball's going to peel back from nowhere. Look at this pin action. I'm doing the same thing with the PA and Scroggins match.
Different format this year. In prior years, the top 8 made the round of Super 16. This year, the top 4 got there. Mike Scroggins was nowhere near the top 4 or top 8. Been a difficult season, long and frustrating for him. Qualified 16th this week. You see the average as well. 16-7 in match play. And it's a long road, including last night here. There was one roll-off in that round of 8 match with Ryan Schaefer.
And if you don't know who Mark Moore is, Mark Moore led the qualifying. That's why he was seeded into the Super 16. He beat some pretty big names there. Brad Angelo, Tony Reyes, who's made 3 telecasts this year, and Ryan Schaefer.
4 times this year. Mike has made the round of 8, so it's been a tantalizingly close year for him, but overall very frustrating. 18th in the rankings, so he's in for next year on points, but he wants the exemption, and now he's going to have to pick up a difficult shot here. Head pin is up.
And one thing you remember about, or that I do anyway, when Mike Scroggins makes a show that he doesn't win, he does that every time.
1, 3, 4, 7. How do you attack this, Randy?
Well, you could go at it a couple ways. You could, Mike could move right like he's doing and try to catch the left side of the head pin and have the ball ricochet off into the 4-7. Kind of like that. The other way
stays up.
The other way is you go on the right side and you try to throw the head pin into the 4-7.
Ted and Leona Dobbins, Taylor Lanes, co-proprietor. Special thanks again to them. Long-time connection with the PBA Tour, and Aaron is there as well. Their daughter. They are the best hosts you could ask for. Taylor Lanes, about 15 minutes from where we are in Ypsilanti. Lefty from Tarrytown, New York. Patrick Allen at 34 years old. He's won 4 titles, including a points title, as we mentioned, for the first time in his career. His road to the TV show, right into the round of Super 16 by being top 4 in points, clinched that spot. And just 2 game losses to Chris and Couch combined.
The only thing he said was that he wasn't battle tested. He was a little nervous in his first match with Tim Chris, but he said he got some great breaks. And right now he is throwing a 3-bagger and he's changed balls on the left lane.
Looks for the front 4. Has it. Great start, Patrick Allen. We talked about how seldom perfect games have been, but a great start for PA.
And he's really showing some maple moxie here. I mean, the last shot he threw on the left lane went really light, and he immediately makes a ball change to something a bit more aggressive.
Big hole for Mike Scroggins. That open frame deadly. When PA is chucking up the front 4 the way he has. The lefty from Amarillo, Texas, the northwest part of the state. Not a good pin count again for him. The Texas Panhandle area, 230 miles from Albuquerque, New Mexico, 300 miles from Oklahoma City.
This is normally what happens to players when they go light. They pull the next shot. Watching himself on our big screen monitors to maybe spot check to see what he did wrong. Remember, the big thing he worked on was that swing change, that swing direction. He got it a little bit too far behind him, which made him miss. Too far left. And right now he's dug himself a big hole, failing to convert the 2-4-7.
Huge hole. For someone who made 3 straight shows last year, won a title, made 5 shows in all. Kansas City, Chicago, Grand Rapids, Tacoma, Seattle, and St. Louis. So it's been a surprise for him. A lot of guys have struggled after big seasons a year ago. Steve Jarrett's a great example. Multiple tour titles won last season. Mike Scroggins said the biggest thing for him, as he makes a proper adjustment, is the 4-year exemption. Sure, the $120,000 would be nice. His wife Melanie back home, a physical therapist, could stay home with their kids, Ross, Will, young Maggie, 18 months old. Perhaps if Mike comes away with a win, but that looks very doubtful now, the way things are going for Patrick Allen. Front four. Is this the day for PA? Seven pin.
And Messenger fighting another pin to try to get over to the 7. I think the difference that the players saw over here versus Taylor Lanes was primarily pin carry. Felt that the pin carry at Taylor Lanes much better than here in the arena.
Wood approaches. Synthetic lanes there, synthetic here. A little bit different. Bowlers did have a 2-hour practice session on our TV lanes prior to the round of 8. Patrick Allen used just about every minute of that on Saturday afternoon.
Here's a lefty-lefty analysis. PA, Mike Scroggins look like they're right on top of each other. PA just a little bit right because he has a bit more roll than Mike Scroggins. You can see his ball goes further to the left, and because he has a bit more hook, it actually gets back Mike Scroggins much straighter.
PA, 60 feet to success. Patrick Allen trying to make some history. There have been so many great bowlers to have success at the World Championship. Looking back at past PBA National Championships, a young Pete Weber picked up his first national title in 1989 when Dave Ferrara was unable to strike in the 10th. With a win, PDW became just the 3rd bowler in history to complete the bowling Triple Crown. In 98, Weber again clinched the national championship crown with a 277-236 win over David Ozio. Another PBA Hall of Famer to double-dip the coveted title is Walter Ray Williams Jr. In 2001, Deadeye destroyed Jeff Lizzie, 258-204 in the title match, earning his 3rd PBA major. Walter Ray then repeated the feat in 03 at the recently renamed PBA World Championship with a win over Brian Kretzer. With a $120,000 payday, Williams set a single-season earnings record of over $419,000. From Eastern Michigan University, the PBA Denny's World Championship on ESPN is brought to you by Geico. You too could save 15% or more on car insurance. Call Geico at 1-800-947-AUTO. By Baby Ruth, the official candy bar of the PBA. Baby Ruth from Nestle, the real deal. And by Bear, the more you know, the more you trust Bear. Young upstart Chris-Loschetter is through already. He beat Brian Voss one semifinal. He'll take on the winner of Patrick Allen, Mike Scroggins. Now a 48-pin spread in favor of Allen in this semifinal. Featuring the 2 lefties, Scroggins and PA, though they throw it from the same side of the lane. They approach the game differently. Randy explains in this week's Dexter Approach.
Yeah, and even though they look similar, they're actually quite different. Very simple style here. You see just above shoulder height backswing, 4-step approach. The nice knee bend, very steady. You see how much higher PA's backswing is, a little more vertical, but PA gets a lot more on it at the bottom of the swing. Right there. Now check out the rotation. Mike Scroggins likes to go straight. He's got much more of a side type of rotation, a little more roll to this rotation here.
Great look lane level from our crew at the rotation of the ball. That was incredible in this week's Dexter Approach. That's why Patrick Allen told us last night he really wasn't concerned about the lay down lefty against lefty because they go at the head pin in the pocket much differently.
And because Mike Scroggins is actually left of Patrick Allen, I think that that's only going to help Patrick Allen's reaction.
PA didn't seem the least bit panicked by that prospect of facing him. Southpaw, for good reason it appears. Strike here puts him down 38, but 1-3 up for Mike Scroggins.
Too far left. He knows it's not going to get back. Mike Scroggins likes to go straight, and all of his misses have been left, with the exception of one in the fourth frame.
Racing to talk about, folks. Sunday, points leader Sam Hornish Jr. will try to widen his lead over Dan Weldon, Elio Castroneves, Tony Canan, Scott Sharp, Dario Franchitti, and others as the drivers try to tame the 1.8-mile, 14-turn circuit on the streets of St. Petersburg, Florida. History-making event in the IndyCar Series' first-ever road course race. The Honda Indy Grand Prix, also available in Spanish or on ESPN Deportes. Call your local cable operator, DirecTV, or the Dish Network today. It's coming up 3:30 Eastern Time on ESPN. See those cars taking right turns for the first time ever on the street course. The Texan, Mike Scroggins, trying for a huge rally. He is in a massive hole here.
And that shot there actually finally took a right turn for Mike Scroggins.
First time he's faced another lefty, as we talked about several times today. There have been shows with two lefties earlier this season. Jason Couch, Rick Lawrence in St. Louis. Rick Lawrence made back-to-back shows earlier in our season. The PA has never faced another. And until today, it doesn't seem to be bothering him one bit.
This was his second shot to start the game. You see this shinier ball, less aggressive. You see how late it made its turn to the pocket. Next time he's up on this lane, switches balls, bang. And since making that change, he hasn't missed on that left lane. Nice adjustment.
Randy, you mentioned top of the broadcast, Patrick Allen, Player of the Year, really right in the middle of it. He told us last night, Tommy Jones with his 4 titles and 4 TV appearances, his perfect TV record would be the front runner. However, he'd be right back in the mix with a win here. He's trying to get the fans pumped up a bit in Ypsilanti.
Yeah, he said with a win here this week, Dave, he'd be back on the radar. And he knows it. That shot there has put him well in the commanding position of this match.
You have to think Patrick is going to be so determined, as we talked about, Randy, with all the emotion, to the Player of the Year race, the 2 titles, but 3 TV finals in majors. Brian Voss had another show today, but bowed out early. And Chris-Loschetter, better shot from Scroggins. It is going to be quite a vote amongst the PBA membership for Player of the Year. Interesting.
Well, you know, the general membership, they like, America loves winners. Tommy Jones has won 4 times, and that's, you can't ignore that. And PA, quite honestly, if he wins today, he's back in front. 2 seconds at majors, 3 titles, 2 of them back-to-back, a major victory. Leading money winner.
Already has won the points title.
Won the points title. Second in match play percentage wins.
He's way up there in all the major categories for sure.
Where's he at an average, Dave?
Great argument. Another point, too, about Patrick Allen. He came so close in that U.S. Open. 1 pin loss to Chris Barnes. Said that stuck with him for days, and it still bothers him because he threw in the 11th frame, he thought, the best shot of his life, but fell a pin shy. He was so determined, we were meeting with him last night, that would not happen again should he face the final. He's about to be there.
Yeah, with a strike here, it's over.
Chance for a 4-bagger.
Bang.
And the clincher for PA.
That's all she wrote.
Patrick will go on to face Chris-Loschetter for his first ever PBA major title. Someone's going to come away with their first ever championship in a major. Who will it be? The young upstart who's just made a name for himself, grabbing headlines from superstars, from Hall of Famers, marching his way here at Ypsilanti to the final. Or maybe it's Patrick Allen. who stays in the groove. And now we'll take on Chris-Loschetter for a major championship.
Patrick Allen making this 3 and 4 here, this pair of lanes. He's making them look stupid easy. This guy's going to shoot 270. 2 more strikes here in the 10th. With 2 different bowling balls.
Fast track to the end here, folks. This match has been wrapped up by Patrick Allen. So Mike Scroggins has a great run. He'll take home the $20,000, which will help wife Melanie, Ross, Will, and Maggie. Ross and Will are young baseball stars, we understand, back home in Amarillo, and have some games this weekend. I imagine they took some time out from the diamond to watch Dad in action. Chris-Loschetter, there he is. What a story. He's from West Melbourne, Florida, but now lives in Olmsted Falls, Ohio, near Cleveland.
I just want to say, you know, hats off to Mike Scroggins. Great week for him. He bowled tremendous in match play and just ran into a buzzsaw today. That guy right there, a PA, is trying to etch his name in the history books. Not only a major championship winner, but also player of the year.
Mike told us last night it was one of the toughest weeks he can remember on tour. His roommate Richie Wolf falling short of the 39-man exempt field for next year. He's got to have good memories, though, certainly. Remember, it was the bus who threw out our first ball today. Had a 7 count. He's one great running back. Coming up, one big bowling fan. It's the bus, Jerome Bettis, the Pittsburgh Steelers star running back, ran for nearly 1,000 yards, career high 13 touchdowns for Pittsburgh last year. He joins our Leslie Goodell when we return.
When machines can't be relied upon to do their work, a man knows he can rely upon himself.
Come on, Cablevision. Give every game back to New York.
Welcome back, everyone. The EMU Convocation Center, Ypsilanti, Michigan. We're getting set for our final. Patrick Allen and Chris-Loschetter playing with us. The Ypsilanti Community Band now. It's 26 here, led by director Jerry Robbins. All different backgrounds. Music teachers, lawyers, healthcare workers. They play 4 indoor concerts and 6 outdoor every year. Glad to have them with us. Someone who certainly thrilled the marching band at Notre Dame in his day as a running back for the Irish. And now in the NFL, Jerome Bettis, joined by Leslie.
Yes, he may have played at Notre Dame, Dave, but he is a Detroit area native and best known for what he's done on the football field, of course. But what many people don't know is, Jerome, you're an avid bowler. I mean, is this something that you would aspire to do after you retire from football?
It's something I would consider, but I would not want to take anything away from these professionals because it takes a lot to become a professional at any sport. So I would give it all the attention it deserves.
So bowling's a sport. Are bowlers athletes?
I really think they are. I mean, they have to be athletic. You know, your body goes through the same types of stress that a normal athlete in terms of baseball, football, basketball would go through. So you have to consider it a sport.
Let's talk about last season. Deuce Staley goes down. You step in. You rush for 941 yards, a career best 13 touchdowns. And you're coming back next year, you know, as a backup in that role that you started last season as. But are you rejuvenated in some way by the season you had last year?
Yeah, a little bit. I felt really good. Last year was my last season, supposedly. I was very comfortable with that. But after having such a good year, you know, I thought, well, maybe one more year and see where the team can take us. So, you know, we've got a good team, and we'll see what happens.
And Ben Roethlisberger impressed a lot of people in his first year. What did you think of him as a rookie quarterback?
You know, he had an outstanding first year. Did a lot of things well, and hopefully we can just build off of that, off the success he had. So hopefully year 2 is even better.
Of course, he threw out the first ball today, didn't knock them all down, said he wished he had a little bit more warm-up time, but still was impressive today as well. Dave?
Leslie won't forgive the bus. Over 13,000 career yards. He's played the Super Bowl too. Left his best. Wow. It's been since '92. Can Patrick Allen represent the Southpaws again? As so many lefties have in the past. Greats as well.
The late, great Earl Anthony put an exclamation point on his career at the 1983 PBA National Championship. Earl owned this event. He was victorious for a 3rd straight year and 6-time overall. That title was the 41st and final of his career. The left-hander's record still stands today.
Tonight on EA Tour. Denny's, we're cooking now.
Patrick Allen, Chris-Loschetter are set to go head-to-head. The PBA Denny's World Championship from Ypsilanti, Michigan. Coming up next week at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, PBA Dexter Tournament of Champions, our final regular season event. And yes, for the first time ever in PBA Tour history, we finished with 2 straight major championships. Tremendous amount on the line. Multiple-year exemption from Uncasville, Connecticut. Should be very exciting to watch. Randy Peterson, you know a thing or two about winning a major championship. This event was known as the PBA National. You won it back in '87. Chris-Loschetter was in that same spot you were all those years ago. What can he possibly be thinking right now?
Well, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The least amount of thinking, the better. You don't want to overthink this. You just want to react and basically let your instincts take over.
How did Chris get here? How did Patrick Allen get here? Let's check out exactly how it happened. The Geico Direct Championship recap. Randy, to this point.
Earlier in semifinal number 1, it was Chris-Loschetter defeating Brian Voss by the score 231-165. Voss never had a clue. Loschetter was all over him. And in semifinal number 2, it was Patrick Allen defeating Mike Scroggins by the score 279-198. PA will bowl for a major title for the 3rd time this year.
Can he win his first major is the question. Leslie Goodell has our finalists.
Well, yeah, one of these guys is going to win their first major. And Chris, you've done a really good job of not showing your nerves if you are nervous. What do you have to do now to get this done?
Keep making great shots. He just shot 279. It's going to only get harder. I'll have to do what I've been doing all week and beat the odds. And this time it's going to be the biggest odds I'll have to beat. So hopefully I can pull it off.
And Patrick, I know you're always humbled by even being here in a major final. You talk about getting the breaks. Is that going to be a factor right now?
It's always the factor. I think me and Chris bowled very well the first game. In practice, our look seems like it's diminishing a little bit, so I think definitely someone's going to have to get the big break to win.
All right, thanks, Patrick. Dave?
Leslie, thank you. Final thoughts from our 2 finalists looking for that trophy and a major championship. What is on the line? Not just the $120,000 first place prize, 4 years of an exemption, big points, and the berth to the PBA Motel 6 Roll to Riches presented by Geico to be held in Fort Worth, Texas later this month. We'll have that for you on ESPN. He's been calm, cool, and collected all week long. The surprise story of our season, perhaps. Great start for the youngster.
Yeah, he's had a lot of time to sit around and think about this title match. And for somebody that's never been in this position, well, the pressure kind of feels like somebody sitting on your chest. Kind of tough to breathe, can't swallow very well. It's a hectic place to be, man. But when you pull it off, what a phenomenal feeling.
Seems like no sweat so far for the youngster. We'll see if that lasts. PA starts his final. He's been here twice before this season in a major championship and represents that experience with a good first ball.
Check it out. Here's the numbers. Higher average for PA, but just keep in mind one thing. PA bowled 1 game on television today, 279. Missed once. 11 of 12 in our second semifinal for Patrick Allen. Remember, he started the match taking 2 re-racks in the first 2 frames. He's already taken his first re-rack here on frame number 2.
PA's had plenty of show experience. He's one of 9 bowlers on our tour this season to appear in back-to-back TV shows. Dallas and Birmingham. Seven pin.
Yeah, and it's a flat 7 that you don't like to see when the 4 goes to the sidewall there and just kind of lays in the gutter dead. That's a flat 7 And that kind of gets into the bowler's psyche and says, hey, man, that was a pretty weak ball. You need to somehow figure out a way to get that ball to turn up into the pocket a little bit harder.
Takes care of the 7th pin. Randy, while we have a moment, want to say hello to Michigan's biggest bowling fan. He's Parker Smith, 3 years old, from Charlotte, Michigan, near East Lansing. Big Michigan State fan. The Spartans went down, unfortunately, in the basketball semifinals last night. Women are still alive, though. He and his dad watching today. Special hello to that family. Speaking of families, Chris and his wife, Erin, were side by side after the big win in the round of 8 last night in the TV interview. It was the right ball, Chris, no doubt about that. Erin, a bowler herself, was overcome with emotion last night. Central Missouri State, she bowled collegiately, won a national championship, then coached an NCAA finalist team. She has the high average in her league right now, men or women, 213, so she's quite a bowler in her own right. Two met in Las Vegas, 1999, at a junior tournament.
Come on!
Now the emotion creeps through for Chris-Loschetter.
Here's his first shot on the right lane. He said, be the right ball, it was. And here's the last shot he threw on the left lane. A low 3-bagger, and he's feeling it.
Hey, Ruff, you never did an IR.
Third frame PA, down 20. Perfect shot. Blisters the rack.
This is called high flush. Bang. The only thing that could have stood up there, maybe a stone 10.
Randy Sunday, points leader Sam Hornish Jr. will try to widen his lead over a field of great racers as the drivers try to tame the 1.8-mile, 14-turn circuit on the streets of St. Petersburg, Florida. IndyCar Series first ever street course race, the Honda Indy Grand Prix, also available in Spanish on ESPN Deportes. Call your local cable operator, DirecTV, or the Dish Network today. Turkey to start this championship match for Loschetter. Looking for a double. Has it. Ten-pin lead, Chris-Loschetter. Unbelievable story. Can he and his wife Erin take home a title?
The more you trust, Bear.
With a Turkey to start this final match, Chris-Loschetter, the upstart youngster, has got a lead on Patrick Allen, leading us through the Uniroyal Tire Rock and Roll, Randy.
Today, second shot of his first match, the first semifinal. He gets a little help from his friends when he rolls the bucket for a key double in that second semifinal match, Dave.
A rare smile during action for Patrick Allen. He is one of the most intense competitors you'll ever see. Folks, got to keep something in mind here. Chris-Loschetter has never been on television in any bowling match prior to today. Told us last night, yeah, an internet feed with the one-camera deals, some high-stakes event. That was it. First time under the bright lights, and helped to avoid the 7-10. That was close.
And it's
front four.
It's an incredible story, and Dave, you're right. I mean, it's amazing that he's gotten this far. It's certainly not because he doesn't have the ability, but, you know, experience is what makes champions on the PBA Tour, and he just doesn't have that.
Saw Erin with her mom, Marty, and Erin's sister, Tracy Lanford, all here from the Cleveland area to root on Chris-Loschetter. There's the 7.
Here's game 1, game 2. Blue is the first game, red is the second. And to me, that looks like he's only a couple of boards left of where he was in his first match, which is a good thing. Keep in mind that the players that bowled the match before him were both on the other side of the lane.
PA goes for the turkey here, 5th frame. That'll be after we see Loschetter again. And his 5th with a 9-pin lead. Late help, no. Little short.
Stay down on the shot.
Of the 10.
Seeing right now, what Patrick Allen needs to do is he needs to apply pressure to get Chris-Loschetter to think about something other than making good shots. And right now, Chris-Loschetter, little carry issues. PA can come back and throw 2 more. That'll be a 4-bagger. He'll be in the lead. Chris will be behind, and that'll make him start to think. Play on his weaknesses.
Mental aspect of the sport is awfully big here. And Patrick Allen has been there before, 3rd time in a major of our 3 majors. And there's a lot on the line for other bowlers too. Doug Kent, who has won this event we saw in 2002. He's knocked out of the TOC. And Tora Torgerson out from the exempt field. He is square on the line right now, number 39. Because of Pete Weber's shoulder injury, the cut line is 39 this week. We're unsure about Pete's status still. Has until Tuesday to determine whether he's bowling in the Dexter Tournament of Champions.
And if Loschetter doesn't win and Pete doesn't bowl, I'm back in.
Wow.
Look out!
That's help. And Patrick knew it.
Now that's the kind of stuff Patrick Allen was talking about, breaks. That is a huge break. It puts him in the lead in this match. This went from 8 to 9 to 10. And watch his reaction. PA, time to take advantage of it. If not, Chris-Loschetter is going to be all over you, Pards.
Looks for a 4-bagger now. With that turkey 2-pin lead, things are very tight here at the PBA Denny's World Championship. 3rd of 4 majors. Many bowlers, many families are closely watching this match. It means so much. Much better ball reaction there as he's right in the pocket.
That's big-time stuff there. Big-time stuff. Takes advantage of the huge break, and that is dead flush.
10 down in the pit for PA. The strike percentage numbers are extraordinary. Way over the tournament average. Remember, he only bowled in just the 2 matches, though. Round of Super 16, Taylor Lanes, round of 8 here last night at the EMU Convocation Center. Back to the youngster. Oh! No help on the scout across the deck for number 10. And it stands tall. Incredible.
He's making good shots, but as you can see, his angle starting to get a little bit deeper. Ball's coming in a little bit later. And remember the one thing we talked about earlier, carry not as good here, especially when you start to give some of the pocket away.
His first ever TV show. First time ever experiencing TV. Chris-Loschetter trying to do the impossible, essentially, and shock the bowling world with his wife and her sister and mom, who driven about 4 hours from the Cleveland area to watch this one.
Here's Chris's ball rotation coming right at you. Nice side tilt. That's what gets the ball to come back to the pocket once it gets right of the head pin.
Got 13 pins. And he talks the ball into the pocket. With wife Erin watching. He told us last night his role model, his idol growing up, Walter Ray Williams Jr., who would never let the lanes dictate what was happening. He would take the action to the lanes. It was a good example of Chris initiating action himself as we see the max numbers.
Well, Walter Ray's a magician, a lot like Earl Anthony. Earl Anthony could do lots of tricks. That's why he won 41 times. Walter Ray's able to stay in a part of the lane where he feels comfortable a lot longer than most. I remember in Tucson last season, Walter Ray averaged something like 263 for the 9-game block, and I asked him how many boards he moved his feet for the day. He said 2. I'd moved 14.
PA stays hot. Don't forget, next week, final regular season event for us on the PBA Tour. PBA Dexter Tournament of Champions, Sunday, 1 Eastern time. We were 1 Eastern this week, same for next week. As we talked about, the TOC cut line may change today. We'll see what happens. Also, Pete Weber's status, very interesting over the next week. Tune in to find out next weekend.
And the first time ever in the history of our tour, we finished the season with back-to-back majors.
It has been exciting. Patrick has been red hot. Looks for a 6-bagger here. He's up 23 pins, 8th frame. Could be up 33. You better believe it.
That is a bad man right there.
Focused and rolling. Patrick Allen. That is focus, folks. No question. Works on a strike. Could be down 23. The strike there and does it. In his 8th frame. The drama escalates for his family.
Beautiful pitch. He knows that he is in a must-strike situation every time he gets up to throw it. If he strikes out, he shoots 257. Patrick Allen going at a 280 pace. However, if he doesn't strike, he's got no chance. He still has a chance if he keeps striking. Patrick Allen's in the 240s right now.
Aaron's family is here. We've seen them. Chris's parents, Bill and Chris, watching back home in Florida. Focused in. That's high. Right through the nose and a 7 count.
We talked about staying down to get the ball to flip a little bit harder, and it looks like he just overdid it right here. And really, who's it more painful for, the player or the spouse?
Remember, Erin's an expert bowler herself. Collegiate star. Still very active in local leagues. Although, she tells us, as Chris covers, she does not give her husband any advice. They have differing styles.
Yeah, she likes to be yelled at, and he doesn't. She was very adamant last night when she told us that, you know, he likes to take the nice nurturing approach to coaching, and I like to be yelled at. So but they make a great couple, and 2 very nice people, especially Chris. And right now, PA trying to put an end to his day.
And an end to the troubles, finishing up in majors. Second place twice so far. He's going to change it today, though. Wow. 7 pin.
Yeah, it was Major League ringing 7, because that was kind of like the coup de grace there. He was going to put an end to him with a strike there. Right now, with a spare, he'll be going at a 249 pace. The best Chris-Loschetter can do is 234. PA marks here, a mark in any kind of decent count in the 10th frame, and PA, Patrick Allen, will win his first major championship.
His dad, Dennis, stepmom, Lottie, sister, Sheila. Couldn't make it out here from New York. But they are watching closely, trying to see Patrick create some of his own history. 9 pins. That's all he needs. Let's make it 8 to officially wrap it up.
The only thing he doesn't want to do on this shot is get too fast. That's the only thing that has got him into any kind of trouble when he gets quick.
Can you believe this? The door opens for Chris-Loschetter with a split for Patrick Allen. Incredible. He had a chance to shut out Loschetter on the bench. Instead, a 7-pin count.
Patrick Allen just needs 2. If he gets 2, he still wins. He still wins by 1 pin. He shoots 235. It's not over. PA just needs 2 pins. Loschetter thought he had a chance to come back and win. PA just needs to convert the 6-10.
Doesn't even need a spare. He gets it.
Patrick Allen is your world champion.
The wait is finally over for Patrick Allen. He is a major champion today in Ypsilanti.
Doug Kent, baby. Doug Kent. That was for you. Kept Doug Kent in the TSC. That's what he was just saying. That's for you, Dougie.
And the improbable, fantastic story of Chris-Loschetter will wrap up here today in Ypsilanti, but we're quite certain we'll hear much more from this young man as his career unfolds. What an impact and a run he had all the way to the final.
Great kid, and his consolation prize this week is $50,000, and you will hear and see a lot more from that young man.
The family saw it in person, but the man of the moment is left-hander Patrick Allen, who wins another title, who wins his first major championship, and puts himself right in the thick of the Player of the Year race.
4 years, baby, 4 years!
From Eastern Michigan University in Ypsilanti, the PBA Denny's World Championship on ESPN is brought to you by Miller High Life. To live simply, proudly, boldly, manly, this is the High Life. By Uniroyal Tires, the official tire of the PBA Tour. Uniroyal Tires, trusted by American families since 1892. By Denny's. Try one of Denny's new Hearty Scrambles. The meat lovers of the Heartland Scramble, each just $4.99. Denny's, we're cooking now. And by Dexter, the #1 bowling shoe in the world. What's your size? That's the Ypsilanti Water Tower, built in 1890 at Michigan, historic site. Speaking of history, Patrick Allen has made it with a big win, 235-210 over Chris-Loschetter. He is a major champion and joined now by Leslie Goodell.
Well, he's called it a dream season. So, Patrick Allen, would you call this a dream come true?
I don't even know what to say, just to get here, in the 3rd major of the season and make all 3 shows. I mean, I'd never imagined that could ever happen. And Chris bowled a great game. He bowled great all week, and I definitely got the break there, and he got some bad breaks, so it could have went either way. But like you said, it's been a dream season.
Okay, let's look at this. $120,000, a 4-year exemption, and your first major win. Which one means the most?
Wow. I got to say all. I mean, all 3. I mean, to be out here for 4 more years, and the exempt tour is a tough thing now. Unfortunately, I saw a lot of my friends this week, not make the top 40, and that was a little tough to handle. But I'm thinking about him, and I'm going to see him soon.
You weren't kidding when you said good breaks would be a big difference for you in this one.
Well, I got to be honest. Chris looked a little lost on the left lane. I looked a little lost on the right lane. I didn't think our scores were going to be that high. Chris got lined up and he threw some great shots. I got a huge break there. I rolled the 3 on a double, and he definitely outbowled me that game.
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of both of these bowlers for a long time to come. Congratulations, Patrick Allen.
Thank you.
What a day for Patrick Allen, 5th career title, the 3rd of our 4 majors. He's now exempt through 2009. Next week, 1 Eastern from Uncasville, Connecticut. We'll crown our 4th PBA major champion, the Dexter Tournament of Champions. That should be great to watch as well. Patrick Allen is a major champion for the first time in his career. An unforgettable day for PA, the lefty from Tarrytown, New York. What a day it's been, including Jerome Bettis making a special appearance. With Randy Peterson and Leslie Goodell, it's Dave Ryan saying so long. Be sure to join us next Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern, the Dexter Tournament of Champions from Uncasville, Connecticut. It's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Coming up next on ESPN, stay with us, the road trip to the Chicago Auto Show. So long, everyone, from Ypsilanti, Michigan, PA, the man of the day.